Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are going to continue the space survival adventure here on the alien planet, but hopefully for not so much longer. But first, we need to make sure we can get the ship and the truck over to the ice lake to collect more resources to get out of this planet. Right, I'm sure my friend here is eager to get out of the alien planet and make it to space, which he hasn't seen yet, I would assume, because I built him here. But anyways, a few things I did off camera, so let's just talk about that. And you're gonna first see it is sensors. So sensors are something I don't normally play around with too much previously, but once I got the hang of it, I've been doing a lot more things with it. And this is something very simple that I've done with these sensors, and that is to open doors and link it to a timer block to close them. So all my gates here on the ship now has the ability to open when I get close to them, and it'll close automatically. So for an example, if I walk up to here, it opens, and if I walk away, it should close on its own after a few seconds. And I think the timing I put was about 10 seconds. So there you go. It automatically closes. So all my doors now are equipped like that, and I can show you guys quickly what that setup looks like. Alright, so as I mentioned in one of my previous videos before, there's a tip in looking at sensors. And what you want to do specifically is go to the info tab once you're in your control panels. Make sure to show the sensor field range, have that checked off. And on the sensor itself, do show on HUD. Then once you have show on HUD, it shows you the block placement or the sensor range of whatever goes past that. It activates the sensor. So here I set it up so that you will see it's not too far forward, but just enough so that once you get close to the door, it would open like so. And in the back and side, it's the same thing. It's not too far forward or backwards in this case, and it's just enough to when you get so close to it that it activates. I didn't want it to be too far forward and too far backwards, so that's the reason why I made it so tight. But with the show HUD on and show the sensor field range, it is easy to kind of see where to place your sensors at or your field range at. So if you go into your sensor again, you'll see the left extend, right extend, bottom extend, top extend, back extend, and the front extend. And that is what you play around with. And then of course, what triggers the sensor is another thing. But for what I did here for doors, I just did a setup action, and once you trip the sensor, you tell it to open the specific gate or door that you have available. And then from there, you want the timing block to be triggered. So I have two timing blocks triggered, or two timing blocks set up on the upstairs. So let me just pop over there really quickly. Alright, so here it is. These are all my timing blocks. So I've been using two timing blocks to put the functions in. And as you see here, setup action, you have 1 to 9. All these are closing all different types of gates and doors. Honestly, didn't realize that there is multiple control tabs for the toolbar. So I could have just put all my gates here like that. But instead, because, you know, I didn't pay too much attention to it, I added a second timer block that has it here. But maybe I'll just move it around because it's just one here anyways. So I do have plans for these timing blocks for other things, but nothing yet. But pretty much that's the timing block, and that is what opens all my doors now. Then I can waste as much oxygen as I can, and it'll just automatically close from there. And again, all my gates are like that. Not all my doors, but all my gates are plugged in with the sensor so that it opens and closes. Alright, so the next thing that I did was a little bit of a weird one, and that is add back some hangar doors. So these hangar doors, I never knew that's that keep out, but anyway, these hangar doors I plugged here so that if I do decide to have a vehicle ramp outside, I can open these hangar doors so a vehicle can get out. The weirdest part about it is that it creates this gap, but the good thing is that this is still considered airtight. As you see there, the air vents are pumping oxygen in here. So that's a good thing, but it's a little bit of an odd one because it's kind of like showing the outside. But I think if it's airtight, I think that's a good deal to me. Alright, so the last thing I did was in the back, and that is to add this connector here in the back. And I add this connector to some oxygen tanks, as you see here. And I put a air vent here that is depressurizing. So it stores oxygen into these tanks here. So that's what I've done so far. And the connector in the back was to plug in my truck into that connector to get the ice. So now I should be able to fly over to the ice lake and probably grab this guy and bring it over. So now there's two ways of doing that, and I don't know if I should do it or not. Number one, use these landing gears, grab it, and pretty much fly over, which is going to add a bit of weight, which is fine. Or the second option is to use that kind of crane system I have in the front and open the hangar doors there, right here. Bring down the pistons and grab it from the middle. That seems to be the kind of funner way to doing it, but I don't know if that's going to work correctly, and it might be a bit scary to do. Which, saying all that, I think I'm just going to go for it and use this system here. So in order to use this system, I think I have them all set up. I would have to open the doors first, which is there. And I'm not really liking this system. I might design my own system and do some merge blocking with it just to make it bigger. Because I tried to think of a way to fit my truck in here. It seems a bit possible if I had a smaller truck. The big truck can barely fit in here based on length. But if I got rid of this, maybe it'll be easier. But then I definitely have to create a ramp in the front to get it going. Right, so here, I think this is the button to bring it down. Yep. So that'll bring it down, and it doesn't bring it down all the way to the ground, which is okay. So now I just gotta hover above the truck itself and have it kind of connected to those landing gears. And I hope it works out fine, but if not, I probably will be in deep trouble. So it is pretty deep, but it's not deep enough. Not past the landing gears there, at least. But let's see what happens. I think I have to grab it in a very specific spot. Otherwise, there is a chance that, the hinges will let go and kind of carry it the wrong way around. But hey, let's give it a shot. So we're going to turn on everything, back it up, and then connect it to those landing gears. And hopefully I activated those landing gears so that I can turn them on and off easily. It should be on switch lock, so I'm not too worried about that. So we're gonna hop in our seats. We're gonna turn on let's turn on our iron thrusters first. Then we'll turn on our hydrogen thrusters, which I have 58% of hydrogen, which is not too bad. That's going to be more than enough for me to get to the ice lake. And now I'm just going to unlock and fly up. And as you see in the back here, I did add a little bit more thrusters to kind of help pick it up a bit. And it seems to be ideal. It's working pretty well. It's not too bad. I did add a little bit more gyros in the inside of the ship as well, just to get that little spin or maneuverability. I need to add a lot more, I think, because I'm still not able to move too much with it. Okay, so this is going to be tricky, and I think I might not be able to grab it with that crane system I have in the front, and it's just going to grab with the landing gears there. Hopefully I don't burn down this truck, to be honest. And this is wasting a lot of hydrogen. Alright, I think that's it. I'm gonna slowly go down and see if we can connect. And we got it. Okay, so we are gathering it at a very dangerous way because it's on the hinge. Ooh, that doesn't look too great. I should have grabbed it elsewhere. This is gonna kind of suck, but we should be okay from there. Alright, so based on... Oh, it's spinning based because of the rotor. And based on the amount of freaking hydrogen I'm using, it might be a little rough getting over there. I'm a little afraid that it keeps spinning a little too much because of the truck. I might have to lock the hinges if I can. That would be probably a smarter thing to do. So let's kind of take care of that. This thing is super wobbly, which is not great and ideal. Alright, so let's see. We're gonna have to lock everything. I think we should be okay there. There is a chance that it's gonna break and I'm not gonna be happy about it. So let's proceed with caution. And I hope we have... Ooh, about to burn myself. Hope we have enough hydrogen to get over there because I'm just already wasting a whole bunch of it right now. Just by letting it sit and float in this heavy planet. Alright, so we're on here. We have 45 already. So now let's just get going. I hope it doesn't destroy the truck. But we'll see how... Yep, it's looking okay. It's not too bad. Alright, so 43. We have a bit's ways to go. I'm going to turn off the front hydrogen so we can kind of float forward. And I'm running into some lookout towers, so that's not a good idea. And I have 5 kilometers away to go. I should be able to make it. The truck, it's still bouncing around, but the good thing and the good news is that it's not necessarily hitting my ship. I should have locked the rotor, actually. That would have been smart. Alright, so I'm coming close to the ice lake. And I think there was a lookout tower there last time I saw that. So we're going to get a little bit careful with that. I think we do need more hydrogen tanks only because at 58% and we're flying a little bit and we're already losing a lot of hydrogen. But of course we are on an alien planet, so that's why we're wasting a lot of hydrogen as well. So lots of things to think about here. Alright, so we're gonna have to stop this and start going down. Hopefully this thing doesn't go down too fast and too hard. Alright, so the uranium should be a little bit further down, so I might want to try to get over there if I can. And I need more gyros to kind of spin this guy because it's not spinning easily. And I don't necessarily have enough mouse pad space or space to move the mouse in that direction consistently. So we're just gonna fly a little bit sideways and kind of hope for the best that I don't clip this mountain here with the truck or my ship. I know there's a defense installation over there which we can attack if we wanted to. And that is a bit closer than I kind of want it to be. And the uranium is up there. Okay, so that's fine. We'll leave that as is. And we're running into the 25% mark. So we're going to have to start landing this guy and drop the truck down a bit. So let's slow it down. And let's hope that the truck is going to not have any issues once I put it down. Alright, so it's looking good. I didn't even put my grouping on it, so that's this guy here. And we're just gonna do switch lock, hit 8, pull up, pull over to the side. Perfect. And now we're gonna have to kind of balance this guy out a little bit. And if I can spin this so that my truck has more space to input on the connector in the back. We're probably going to move it a little bit forward. Alright, so that ordeal already cost me 30 hydrogen, so we definitely don't have enough hydrogen, especially for a long journey. So, well, actually when in space, it's not going to matter too much anyways. So having all this hydrogen is 100% not necessary, but it's always good to have. Alright, so I'm upside down for whatever reasons. Time to get into my truck, fill up some ice, and pretty much get going. Or should I even bother using the truck? I could have just created a drill, to be honest, instead. But no, we're going to use the truck. We're going to drill for the uranium as well. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I've dug up a few spots back here for some ice. Filled up about 2 cargoes full. And now I'm connected into my ship. So yeah, this truck has been very useful, as you see here. I've been able to, you know, pretty much dig a hole, gather materials, and then kind of stretch it out and connect it into this connector. Wow, that's the first time I've seen it connect like this, but it works. So now I just gotta move some things around and throw all the ice in there to charge up the hydrogen tanks, or gather more hydrogen for the hydrogen tanks. Alright, so I moved everything over and I can disconnect, back it up, and I can start drilling right in front actually, just to make it a little easier. If you guys haven't seen the truck's operations in a while, and if you want to see what it looks like, it's basically on my toolbar down here. It's controlling 3 hinge points. It is controlling, let me show you guys, it's controlling this hinge point here on the bottom of the base of the system. It's controlling this hinge point here, and lastly this hinge point here. So it's kind of like elbows and joints basically, and there's not much of a limit in terms of the hinges except for the drill arm. But if you look at my toolbar, 1, 2, 3, that's how I control it by going reverse, and 7, 8, 9, that's where I lock the hinges from going a certain distance. So in this case, drilling straight down to the lake, eventually you can hit some stone. So what I like to do sometime is, instead of allowing the arm to just go straight down, I actually have it go in a diagonal. So let me unlock the drill arm to extend to its full potential, which the drill arm does have a bit of a limit on the hinges. I'm not too sure why I set that, but I'll leave it as is. And what I'm going to do is let it extend, and then I'm going to bring up the middle arm. So we do that by going the wrong way, going this way, and let it extend fully without hitting anything. Ooh. We might need to back up a bit. Alright, so that's extended fully, and now I'm going to let the base arm pretty much drop a bit without going too fast, because it's going to bring down the whole entire truck. Could probably slow that down a little bit, but it's okay. Alright, so that's as much diagonal as I can go for now. And I can just go straight, no, not straight, but diagonally down to the ice, and keep backing up or going forward to gather the ice that way. So again, this truck has been really, really nice in terms of gathering our ice that we need. And I just killed myself somehow. Hate when that happens, but yeah, I ran into the cargo container a little bit. Alright, so what I was gonna show you guys before I died was basically the diagonal encounter here, where it does still gather some stone, but not as much stone as I would go directly straight down. So here, I'll just bring it back up. And then what I'm usually going to do is just either back it up or go forward. In this situation, I'll probably just back it up a hair and then continue on with the drilling. So it'll just be kind of diagonal right next to it. So right around there is where I'm going to stop. Oh, a little too much. We go a little bit more forward and then start digging that way. So now it's going to kind of follow along the previous spot I went a little too far back, but it kind of follows along the previous spot, and it's going to gather as much ice that way as possible. I think the next thing to do is probably climb up that mountain. And... gotta get that uranium, but we gotta kind of find where it is at too. Alright, so the uranium's here that I found a while back, and it's just up this mountain. Not sure if my truck can get up here because of these jagged edges. I mean, I can slowly make my way through it by drilling, pretty much through it if I had to. That actually might make it a little bit easier to get the uranium too, if I can do that. It will probably take some time, but I mean, we can kind of find out how deep this uranium is to begin with. So where did it go? I just saw it's about 41 meters down right here. So if I drill directly down through this goop, which is kind of disgusting and gross, but if I drill down here, I should be able to find the uranium sooner or later. This is probably the slow way of doing it, and I think this is uranium that I just kind of wasted, but yep, this is uranium, which is awesome. I think I could kind of just gather a few here. Alright, so I think we should be able to bring the truck over, mine the uranium, and then make it back to the ship. And before I forget, let me check on here. What is this? This is silicone. Okay, that is something I don't necessarily need. We want the uranium. Alright, so let's transfer the ice to make it not as heavy. And we should start getting out there to gather that uranium, because that is something we definitely want to have a lot of. Alright, did some good digging for the uranium, but unfortunately using the truck to dig for uranium is not the best idea, because I'm gonna collect more stone than I am uranium. As you see here, you dig down a little bit, and I kind of started manually drilling out the side to collect it myself, and so that it falls onto the drill. Looks like it missed a whole bunch. Let me pick these up really quick. Alright, so got all those picked up. And yeah, constantly drilling downwards is not the most ideal thing to do. So I start a new hole. This one's a really thin layer of uranium, so that didn't work out too well. So what I'm gonna have to do is actually create a drilling ship to kind of come down and grab as much uranium as possible. That way, you know, we can do like a horizontal drilling instead of just a vertical drill. So we have a whole bunch of stone in this guy right now, which is okay. Just now gotta find a way down without blowing up the ship, or the rover actually, and you know, bring back as much uranium that I have collected so far, which honestly wasn't much. Let's go check how much I have. Alright, so I have close to 30k of uranium, which is not much at all. It will sustain us for a while, but I prefer to gather as much as I can, so I definitely need to create a drilling ship so I can gather the rest of the uranium that's found here, unless I can find a different deposit. But unfortunately, yes, we're gonna have to stay on the alien planet for roughly another episode or two, because I do want to gather up all the uranium that I can so we can constantly recharge our jump drives, because we do have 2, and I might add more if I have enough material for it. So for now, we'll just bring this big boy back to the ship and load it up with the uranium and also some of the stone. Alright, so we made it back to the ship. Now we just gotta unload these things to that connector. Perfect. Now we can extract and place them all into the large ship. It looks like most of the ice got produced. Well, not all, most of it. It looks like we still got, 100k, 1000k worth. That's nice. We have a bunch of stone, which we probably don't need, but and always good to have extra parts. And we could dump all our uranium into our large reactors, if I can. We're gonna have to create a little ship to gather the rest of the uranium, and then after that we're probably gonna look at that defense installation, take it down, or maybe even call it ours if we need to. So this thing kind of worked out well. I should have locked the rotor. I forgot to do that. So let's bring this guy back up. And what we're going to do is close up the hangar. I totally forgot about my little rover that was in here. So I guess it was bouncing around and kind of blew up, as you see here. So the wheels on this side and the other side of the ship itself, which is interesting, but luckily nothing blew up inside, which is good. And here you'll see I added a few things while I was drilling previously. I added another hydrogen tank here and here, and some O2 generators over here just to get some more hydrogen quicker. And this one is my special O2 H2 generator, which is what I use to load up my bottles here, and it's not gonna use up all the ice to the hydrogen. I keep it separate, none of it's linked into anything. So that way when it produces all the hydrogen, at least I still have some ice for myself in that way. Looks like I still have a little more things here. Let's just deposit all that. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode where we looked at sensors, drilling for ice, drilling for uranium, and just pretty much preparing ourselves to get out of the alien planet. Alright, so in the next episode, I'm going to have to build a little small ship to drill out the rest of the uranium that's a sliver horizontally. And once we get most of that done, it's time to see space once again. Alright, as always, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave us some comments. Alright, so and as usual, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.